Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the news from New Greek TV. A tiny lead of Syriza by 0.5% over governing New Democracy is shown by the latest poll conducted by Pulse pollsters for newspaper Topodiki. Meanwhile, Golden Dawn is showing a slight rise to 10.5% and is in third place. As concerns intentions to vote, Syriza got 22% as against 21.5% for New Democracy. They're followed by Golden Dawn with 10.5%, PASOK with 6.5%, the Communist Party, KKE, with 5%, Independent Greeks with 4.5%, and the Democratic Left Party with 3%. 7.5% would vote for another party, while 9% were undecided. Factoring in only valid votes, Syriza is ahead with 24.5% as against 24% for New Democracy. As concerns most suitable for Premier, Adonis Samaras is ahead, with Alexis Tsipras gaining ground fast. German newspaper Die Welt has published a new scenario for alternative government in Greece. According to this scenario, New Democracy will seek a coalition with Independent Greeks and Democratic Left parties to avoid premature elections. The article refers to main opposition Syriza, accusing the party of constantly moralizing, and finally of allying itself in the motion against the government with the neo-Nazis and the communists. The loss of Theodora Zakri for the governing coalition after her vote of no confidence is mentioned, noting the slim four-seat majority of the government and the inside friction that is undermining its future. The article comes amid reactions by government MPs against the single real estate tax, with the most flagrant example being PASOK deputy Michalis Kassis, who said he would vote against the bill. The article concludes that if a revamped coalition is not found, then premature elections are unavoidable sooner or later. The authority against the legalization of income from criminal activity and the funding of terrorism ordered the confiscation of cargo on board Sierra Leone-flagged freighter Nur M on Wednesday. The ship, currently being held by the Coast Guard on the Greek island of Rhodes, is carrying large quantities of arms and ammunition with a stated final destination in Libya, for which the UN Security Council, however, has opposed an arms and fuel embargo. In 9 of the 59 containers on board the freighter, Greek authorities have already found ammunition for assault rifles and anti-aircraft guns. Authorities have not yet ruled out the existence of more AK-47 rifles as listed on the ship's manifest. The unloading of the containers onto Rhodes port began on Wednesday morning, with 20 taken off the ship so far. The rest of the containers will be searched in front of a public prosecutor, customs officials, and explosive experts with a fire engine on standby. Government coalition deputies are continuing to react to the single real estate tax, forcing the Finance Ministry to keep amending the bill and to keep overturning drafts set for public debate. In an effort to maintain internal government balances, the ministry is now seeking a mixed scheme that will combine taxation on the overall real estate owned by persons and on each single piece separately. The solution seems even more complicated than the original draft bill, but was arrived at by the two parliamentary groups that met with the Premier's close aide, Chrisanthos Lazaridis. A new draft will be presented to parties within the next hours for comments, and the final draft is expected by mid-next week. The government, meanwhile, is attempting to lower tones in order to pass the real estate tax with as little dissent as possible and to avoid a repeat of the Zakri phenomenon. However, PASOK deputy Michalis Kassis openly warned that he will vote against the bill if it isn't changed. Other warning shots came from Christos Gogas and Thanos Moraitis. There's also information that at least 7 PASOK deputies have issued similar warnings. At the same time, at least 5 New Democracy members of parliament have shown reluctance in voting for the bill, while party parliamentary spokesperson Manolis Kefalogiannis also expressed reservations about the bill and presented his own version. There is no country, named Cyprus, said Turkish Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan, speaking to Turkish Cypriot daily Kibris at the conclusion of a meeting in Poland, addressing Turkey's relations with the European Union. The Turkish Prime Minister's comments prompted a strongly worded reply from the Greek Foreign Ministry. Quote, "The Turkish Prime Minister's disputing the very existence of the Republic of Cyprus should finally awaken the international community as to Turkey's true intentions regarding the Cyprus issue. Any further comment on this is superfluous," Foreign Ministry spokesperson Konstantinos Koutras said in an official statement on Monday. Mr. Erdogan said that the European Union's decision to include Cyprus in the bloc in 2004 was politically motivated. Quote, "They did not admit them because they were in harmony with the EU laws. They admitted them in a political decision. I will give you an example of this. One of them is South Cyprus. Pay attention. They did not admit it as South Cyprus. They admitted it as Cyprus. There is no country named Cyprus. There is the local administration of South Cyprus," Mr. Erdogan was quoted as saying. The special corruption magistrate has summoned executives of 6 of the country's major dairy farms on criminal charges of forming a milk cartel. Charges are based on reports from livestock breeders that the companies banded together to push down milk prices paid to producers. The accused are charged with criminal extortion and harming suppliers. And the charges are brought against 10 senior executives, including CEOs and managers of dairy firms, Mevgal, Fage, Delta, Olibos, Nestlé, and Agnokollios, for misdeeds committed in the years during 2004 and 2006. The accusations include exerting pressure and threatening dairy farmers with exclusion from all markets unless they sold their milk at very low prices. An investigation was launched based on complaints filed by dairy farmers who confirmed that they had been forced to sell below the fixed price ceiling. The accused deny the charges, claiming that their actions were dictated by free competition and the freedom to select suppliers of raw materials. Severe storms have left problems around Greece, with most damage centered in the region of western Greece. In Athens, main road junctions flooded, causing circulation problems and traffic backlogs, mostly in the center and the southern suburbs. The fire department received more than 100 calls to pump water from basements and to free cars. In Patra, part of the city experienced a power blackout, while some homes and shops flooded because of sewers overflowing. In Messini, cars were swept by waters, but thankfully without danger to life. Severe rainstorms are also expected tomorrow, mostly in the Ionian and the mainland Greece, with temperatures ranging between 13 and 19 degrees Celsius. The urgent decision to reimburse Fire public broadcaster ERT employees, signed by alternate finance minister Christos Staikouras, was posted on the government's e-governance website. The decision was signed on 7th of November, the day the government gave the green light for the police assault on the main ERT compound to remove squatting former employees. As mentioned on the site, the total cost for severance and back pay comes to slightly less than 22 million euros. In most likelihood, the sum concerns money already paid out as relevant accounts mentioned have been billed in July, August, and September. Kenyan runner Hilary Yego, 26, was the first to cross the finish line at the 31st Athens Classic Marathon on Sunday, completing the race in 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 59 seconds. The race, which spanned the distance from the battlefield of Marathon to the old Olympic Stadium known as the Kalimarmaro, saw second and third place claimed by Kenyans Dixon Kimmel and David Ruto, respectively. The first Greek athlete to finish the Classic Marathon race this year was Christoforos Merousis with 2 hours, 24 minutes, and 9 seconds. Among women runners, Kenyan Nancy Joan Rotich came first with 2 hours, 43 minutes, and 38 seconds, and Greek Magda Gazea second with 2 hours, 48 minutes, and 3 seconds. About 9,000 people participated in this year's classic 42 kilometers race. A motion of no confidence against the New Democracy PASOK coalition government, tabled by main opposition Syriza party, was rejected last night by Parliament. After a three-day debate, the motion was rejected by 133 votes to 124. 17 deputies, including all of Democratic Left's 14 deputies, effectively abstained. Speaking during the debate, Prime Minister Adonis Samaras and PASOK leader and Deputy Premier Evangelos Venizelos argued that Syriza leader Alexis Tsipras had called the vote in efforts to unify disparate elements within his own party. The debate was fraught with acerbic comments from all sides, with tempers rising when Mr. Tsipras again mentioned his party's resolve to ask for a parliamentary inquiry into the so-called submarine scandal. Ms. Theodora Zakri of PASOK voted in favor of the motion and was immediately struck from party lists by Mr. Venizelos after the vote. Meanwhile, on Monday, tensions continued to rise in Parliament in the wake of the vote, as New Democracy spokesperson Makis Voridis noted the government had been reinforced by the outcome. In contrast, Syriza Deputy Yoros Kondonis said the loss of Ms. Zakri and the reservations voiced by other deputies of the coalition government were forced to vote against the motion. Communist Party Member of Parliament Thanas Pafilis said that a new bipolarity is emerging between New Democracy and Syriza now. This poses erroneous dilemmas on policy management, he said. An Iranian man stabbed the secretary of the 28th Judicial Inquisitor this morning at the Central Athens Court on Evelpidon Street. The perpetrator, who is accused in a narcotics case, struck the woman twice in the back and neck, under as of yet undisclosed motives and circumstances. The attack took place in Building 10 of the court complex that used to house the military academy. The man was arrested by police that intervened when they heard the victim's screams. He was led to Athens Police Headquarters, Rada, where he is being questioned. The hapless woman was taken to Evangelismos Hospital, where doctors said her health was in no danger. The willingness of both countries to sign an agreement for cooperation in the tourism sector was expressed by the ministers of tourism of Greece and Kenya yesterday. Greek Minister Ola Kefalogianni and her Kenyan counterpart, Phyllis Candy, underscored the willingness for bilateral collaboration. The two ministers met yesterday in the presence of Tourism Ministry Secretary General Anastasios Liaskos. The two officials examined possibilities for special forms of tourism, such as conference tourism and cruises. Ms. Candy also asked for a transfer of know-how from Greece on issues of tourism education and conservation of cultural heritage. Ms. Kefalogianni retorted that Greece will help in any way possible. Greece remains a very attractive destination for direct foreign investments in such sectors as transport, shipping and shipyards, energy and tourism, said Deputy Foreign Minister Kyriakos Gerontopoulos on Monday. The Greek official was giving an address at the Europe-Asia Ministerial Session in New Delhi, India, on the theme Bridge to Partnership for Growth and Development. Mr. Gerontopoulos added that given the interdependency of international economies, the present economic crisis was not just European and required global handling. At the beginning of his address, Mr. Gerontopoulos conveyed the condolences and solidarity of the Greek people to the Philippines and Vietnam for the disastrous Typhoon Haiyan that hit the two countries. Thank you for listening to the news on New Greek TV.